Good morning, everyone. My name is Christy. Welcome to my corner. Thanks for joining me today for Flossmas number 5. It is December 5th, 2025, and thanks for hanging out while I open up a couple advents. I have a stitchy advent from Forbidden Fiber Co. I have a beauty advent from Ulta, a snacky advent from Universal Yums, and I have a coffee advent that my mom sent me. So I am drinking the day 3 coffee, and well, let's just talk about it. I did take a first sip, but I'm letting it kind of mellow in my head. But number 3, I think it probably has fruity notes, like berry notes. And I don't love berry notes. Yes, okay. So this is Candy Floss, and my mom had the same one, and she didn't love it either, by Escape Coffee Company. It's roasted in Montreal, Quebec, and this is the coffee calendar. It's all Canadian roasters. The origin is from El Salvador and Guatemala. The notes are blue cotton candy, wine gums, and fresh blackberry. And I have noticed that whenever I have a coffee that has a berry in it, I don't love it as much. Although, again, my second sip was kind of better than my first, I think. I'm struggling a little bit though because I put moisturizer on my hands so they're slippery. So my hand keeps sliding down the handle and then I burn myself. All right, let's look at our Forbidden Fiber Co. Advent Calendar. If you want to know how the Forbidden Fiber Co. Advent Calendar works, you can find that information either in my Flossmas number 1 or the video I posted on November 29th, I think it was. And this is, hold on. I was looking for the little card inside that might have had more information that was sort of, anyway, to show you, but it doesn't. So this is the Forbidden Fiber Co. Advent Calendar, and the theme is 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. So we've had 2 pattern pieces, 2 gifties, including fabric and the project bag, which is very pretty. And now we're on day 5. It's an odd day, so there's a giftie, and I'm going to say needle minder. So let's, oh goodness, that was difficult to open. I think it was taped as well. What do we got? It is. Oh, that's really pretty. Look at that needle minder. How pretty is that? That's super pretty. It says, up on the housetop. So up to the house, I can't read it. Hold on one sec. Those of you with middle-aged eyes will totally understand what I had to do. I had to take a picture of it and blow it up. It says, so up to the housetop, the coursers they flew with the sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And it says FFC 2025. So there we go. That's the, that's the needle minder, which is really, really nice. This is a nice one. It's a metal and enamel. And she always puts buttons on the back of them on the, ooh, that's a good magnet too, on the back magnet. If you ever get one of my needle minders that I send out randomly, I put googly eyes on the back of mine. Just for funsies. All right, so that was a great needle minder for today. And let's take a look at, I keep hitting this box. I'm gonna have to rip that little flappy bit off of the box. Hold on a sec, I'm gonna do it now. Every time I sit down or move, I hit the flap on that box, and which is sitting on the table right next to me, like at hip level, and it is really annoying, and it keeps bumping into other things. All right, now Ulta, day 5. My Ulta calendar's coming. I'm undone it, but I might have to like tape it or something. All right, so day 5 is down here. Let's see what we have. It's like a boom box. What do we have? Jivvy. This is a scalp serum. Revitalize. I really would like a scalp serum actually. Revitalize and detoxify. Now, I don't actually believe in like detoxification of the body. Like our body parts do that pretty well already. But I would like to have a nice scalp. Our lightweight scalp serum is infused with powerful science-backed blend of multiple amino acids and peptides to create a healthy scalp environment for hair to thrive. Perfect. Love it. I will absolutely be using that. So we had 2 hair things in a row, which is, I find really interesting. That feels unusual to me. Although I'm understanding, the way I understand it, hair stuff is super popular right now. Like, people are becoming obsessed with their hair. And then we have my Universal Yums candy advent, and we have our contest. And what I've decided I'm going to do is, instead of this being its own thing, I'm going to include this into, does that make sense? So we're going to have I don't know if I'm explaining it well. I'm going to pit this guy. We'll have 2 semifinalists. We're going to have, 3 semifinalists. Does that make sense? We're going to have 3 semifinalists, and they're all going to go head to head, because I don't like that these guys have less of a chance of winning. I think that's unfair to those candies. So let's do 5, which looks like strawberry. And I do love a strawberry. I do love a strawberry. Oh, I ripped it. Oh, there we go. Making weird faces. Okay, so this looks like just a strawberry gummy. So let's read about it. Number 5, strawberry gummy. Strawberry flavored gummies. Youpi Delicious. The first taste of Youpi Delicious very strawberry gummies is enough to make you burst with flavor. That seems odd. And that's before you begin to delve into the magical world of Youpi Land. It doesn't say where it's from at all. So, I might have to look up where it's from. Maybe I'll actually do that right now. Hold on. It looks like it's from Indonesia. So let's try it. I do love a strawberry. A little gummy. Ooh, that's an interesting texture, I have to say. It sort of popped. But it wasn't like liquidy inside, but it sort of popped. I mean, it's very good. It's a very good gummy. So Youpi Delicious strawberry flavored gummies. It's a pretty good addition. But that's the first in our second set of contestants. So I don't have anything to compare it to. And I did find out yesterday that the Christmas pudding fudge, the reason why they're talking about coins is because there are coins in Christmas puddings. And I kind of felt like there were. Holiday cakes and puddings tend to enjoy putting choking hazards in their candy and in their desserts. And this is no shade on Christmas pudding, because of course I live in Mississippi and we have king cake around here in sort of, I'm on the edge of like Cajun country, and you can choke on those plastic babies pretty easily in January and February. All right, let's talk about our stitching. I worked on my mermaid, my fat mermaid yesterday. I changed the bag, so it is now in this bag that has mermaids on it, which made sense to me. So I changed the bag, and just to show you what it's going to look like, it's going to look like her, but in shades of teal. I'm stitching it 1/1 on, I think, a 20 count Aida, and this is where I was yesterday. I worked on it for about an hour and a half. And this is where I am today. So I filled in some things in this darker teal. I did all this stuff up here. So I made some progress. I think I did like 200 and maybe 150 stitches. It's 1/1, so it is like intense, but it's pretty interesting how quickly your eyes acclimate, because I remember when I first looked at it, under my magnifying glass last night, and I'm like, oh shit, this is this is gonna be rough. But then after about 20 minutes, my eyes started to feel okay about it. And it's almost like my brain magnified it for itself, right? So that worked really well. And she is done for at least the Advent season. I may pick her up again later. I did kind of think though, you know, I mentioned that Terry had given me this amazing bead holder, and she specifically mentioned this project to put beads on, but I think it might be too small for beads. So I don't know how I'm going to get beads into those little sections. Those like little white sections, those are like beads. Those little like tiny dots. Those are where beads go. And I don't think I'm going to find beads that small. But we'll see. We're not at that point yet, so it's okay. So let's see what our next will be this evening. What do we got? What is that? The Bayou test. Okay. This is good. I need to get this done. So hold on and I will grab it. Okay, so we're working on, like I said, the Bayou test. And if you want any information about any of my projects, you can go back to my whip parade that I did, like I said, on November 29th, I believe. So my Bayou test is in here. This coffee is starting to taste better on my palate, which is really interesting to me. And essentially what I'm doing is oh, the heater just turned off. I am testing fabrics and wool, essentially fabric and wool, to see what I want to stitch my Bayou tapestry on. And so this, you know, these are all fabric, all linens. They're all linens. And I thought I wrote down, yeah, so I wrote down what they were. They're from fabricstore.com, which does a lot of linen. And then I have what I've been stitching him on, stitching him with is lace weight Mora yarn from, it looks Scandinavian. And I got this from the Woolery, I believe. And what I want to try are wool embroidery threads. These guys that are from DeVere Yarns. So I'm going to just grab probably this navy and do the rest of the armor. And this is from the Bayou tapestry, which again, I mentioned in my previous video. And the reason why I started doing needlework and embroidery in particular in 2019 was because I wanted to stitch an entire Bayou tapestry, which is 70 meters long and about 13 to 20 inches high. I think it's 13 inches high. So it's just like really long, maybe 20 inches high, but it's just this really long. It's a very large project. It is a magnum opus. It is a lifetime project. Carrie from Carrie and Stitches and I met up when I was in the UK, and we met up in Reading, and we went to the Reading Museum, and they have the British Bayou tapestry, which was done in the Victorian era. And it was a reproduction, an almost exact reproduction of the Bayou tapestry. And it took, I think it was like 35 women 1 year to do. I am one woman. If that tells you anything. It's fine. It's fine. So anyway, I will work on this for an hour this week, tonight. I will not be working on my cosmic egg for the simple fact that I am not, we have an event this evening in town. Christmas is a very busy time in my town. There are lots of events. We had the Christmas parade on Wednesday night. Tonight is Wassail Fest, where everyone, like all the businesses downtown, make their own wassail or wassail, which is essentially a spiced cider that involves other things. And so everyone has their own recipe. They used to have alcohol in them, but they stopped doing alcohol, which is unfortunate. What are you going to do? And then there's a contest, and so you vote on them. And the problem I have is that the winner, we live in the South, The South is known for something called sweet tea. If you've never had sweet tea, and if you're not from the South, this is not like sweetened tea. This is like into a gallon of tea, you put 1 to 2 cups of sugar. I personally can't even taste tea. It just tastes like sugar water. So folks in the South are very used to sweet beverages, sweet cold beverages, or sweet beverages in any way, shape, or form. And so the ones that win, the wassels that win, are usually the super sweet ones. But I like the really spicy ones, right? With all the nice, like Christmas mulling spices, essentially. Some people put extra, like put kind of too much orange juice or put too much pineapple juice and not enough apple juice. I don't know. I have my own particular preferences and they do not win. So I'm always a little bit disappointed, but it's really fun. And, you know, hundreds of people, I mean, it's a huge event. Hundreds of people are downtown. It's just a really nice community event that is free, which there aren't a ton of community events in the world that are free these days. So it's free and it'll just be really fun. And then tomorrow, which I'll talk about tomorrow, but a friend of mine is the kind of adults librarian, adults activities person at our public library. And so we're doing needle felting tomorrow. So I'll show you that on Sunday. Oh, and I gave my first ever oral exam last night, or yesterday afternoon. I've been trying to counteract generative AI in my classes. I teach history at the college level. There's been a lot of generative AI. And so I experimented with my honor students on an oral exam to maybe counteract some of that. And it was enlightening. There are obviously things that I would change going forward, and I won't talk about any specific students, but it was a really interesting experience. I did, however, discover that I need to schedule in a bathroom break in the middle. I did not have a bathroom break. So it was essentially like 3.5 hours straight of oral exams. And it was intense for me. It was really intense. And my brain was not working when I was done. And I was hungry because I hadn't eaten enough. Like I usually eat like a snack and I hadn't eaten enough. And I was hangry when I got home and my brain was mush. Anywho, that's enough of that. I will talk to you later. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care of yourselves and happy Flossmas. Bye.